Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Adrian Broner. This man, we can't get enough of him, can we? Adrian Broner is good for the sport of boxing, but lately he hasn't been so great, seeing that he isn't in the best of mental health and in the best physical shape. So overall, when it comes to his overall health, both mentally and physically, Adrian Broner is struggling. So word on the street is that the ex-world champion, Adrian Broner, the can man, has put on a ton of weight yet again, despite having recently been in camp for almost 10 weeks, getting ready for the August 20th fight that he pulled out on. Now, the thing is, he was looking good initially going into training camp and working through training camp as he was getting ready for Omar Figueroa. But it caught it off, mental health issues, okay? But look, he's been back in the gym. And look, for years, a lot of these boxers are talking about mental health struggles. Forget about Wilder, Fury, Adrian Broner, forget about Ryan Garcia. If you watch the interviews with, Sugar Ray Leonard, I did not know until a few years ago that Sugar Ray Leonard was doing cocaine. You know what I mean? This man was depressed. This man was suicidal. I had no idea. And then you fast forward past Sugar Ray and you get into, we all know about Mike Tyson's story, but you get to see the Golden Boy, De La Hoya. When I first found out De La Hoya doing cocaine and all this crazy and drugs, man, and the pictures came out where he was wearing a woman panty and all kind of craziness and fishnet stuff. I thought that shit was photoshopped. But then, you fast forward beyond that and you start to really look back and say, you know what? And you try to put yourself in their shoes. Say, these guys are in the limelight. All of their personal business is no longer theirs. It's the public's business. Okay? And that's something that they sign up for when they become, these public figures. These guys are making big money. Okay? Your life is no longer yours. And I think a lot of these athletes aren't prepared for that. They want the money, they want the fame, they want all the pros. Okay? They want all the pros that come to it. They don't want the cons. Okay? And when they start coming, especially when you're someone who is very braggadocio, very outspoken, arrogant, like an Adrian Broner, when you're on top, that attitude kind of coincides with your success. And it helps to boost your profile. But when things start unraveling, Madonna, okay, everyone wants to come at you now and laugh at you and I told you so and aha. And basically give you a taste of your own medicine. But for him now, man, he's continued apologizing for canceling the fight that he had with Figueroa. He says he's back in training. He's looking to, reemerge as a top talent and win the title. But he says his mental health is real and he's trying to deal with it. And he says, when he was going to that fight with Figueroa, he just felt like he was putting his life on the line and he wasn't 100%. And he said he just wasn't going to do it. Now, a lot of these boxers, when you hear them talking, they all say, I've watched a lot of people die playing with their boxing career. Now, I don't know how many fights I've watched where I've just seen guys just dying left and right. But deaths do happen in boxing. Brain damage does happen in boxing. Okay? And I'd have to say I agree with Adrian Broner not getting into that ring if he wasn't 100%. Although I think him at 10% would have beat the shit out of Omar Figueroa. But Omar Figueroa is someone else who's having mental health struggles. And, even Omar Figueroa came back and said how he was doing so great. He's finally got the demons behind him. We're going to see a new and improved Figueroa. Omar is back. He got his ass in the ring with lip. I'm not laughing at the mental health stuff, right? I'm just saying, these guys come in, they talk a good game, not being honest with themselves, and they get in there with someone like a Lippin Yates. Worst person to get into the ring with. Let me tell you, Lippin Yates doesn't have he's not very empathetic, is he? Lipinets does not care. That man just knows one thing: kill, kill, kill. It's Halloween season, so things start happening. When we get close to Halloween, and Lipinets had no problem slaughtering Figueroa. And I personally think Adrian Broner would have been able to dice him up as well. But Figueroa got in there, man, with his little Jim Carrey, irky jerky, jab, jab, jab. The little weird ass style that he has, man. And Lipinets gave him the business. But I personally think mental health maybe played a role in the downfall of Figueroa. At the same time, that fight he was in that caused him to take that time off before he got in here and fought Lipinets, right? When he took all that time off. I can't remember who he fought, but had him hit him with those body shots and had him throwing up blood in the corner. You remember that? That's what ended him. Those shots messed him up. That man went to the corner, was throwing up straight blood. I don't know if you guys saw that. I mean, it was just like he was hemorrhaging. Y'all ever kill a goat or kill a chicken or kill a cow? You ever kill any animal, sheep, whatever? I have, okay? I grew up. Culture, man. So I know what it is when you kill an animal and you see that red blood coming out. You know what I'm saying? And that is what that reminded me of. It's like someone took a real sharp knife and bust his throat. You know what I'm saying? Horrible. I thought he was going to die personally, but he pushed through it. But I think that's where everything came to an end. But with Adrian Broner, I think he missed an opportunity, man, to get an easy win. But bottom line, he has to make some changes for himself and for the future. And he for the first time seems to not be worrying about pleasing other people and doing what he feels they want him to do. And he feels like he doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. And when you think about that statement, right? I'm not doing things to satisfy anyone. I'm not doing any things that I feel people want to see me do. I'm not here to satisfy anyone but myself and get myself together, right? That could explain a lot of his really immature, inappropriate, off-time behavior. You know what I mean? Like, he was doing some stuff. Like, I don't know how a lot of y'all grew up. Everybody here, different backgrounds. But, there's a lot of people who don't have in this world. Don't have water, don't have a roof over their head. They just don't have, right? And when I saw Adrian Broner, what was he ripping up? $20 bills. If it's not a $100 bill, I don't want it. This man was ripping up $20 bills. I think may have been a couple of 50s, 10s, and ones and flushed them down the toilet. You guys remember that video? And I watched that, man, and I was just in disgust because I know people that live that dirt floor, galvanized roof, got to go out to a standpipe to collect water. Outhouse, you know what I'm saying? Real hard life. No electricity. But those people have more love in their house than these people who live in mansions. But when I saw that, I didn't like that because I said, that is crazy. So when you think about what he's saying, maybe he was doing things for shock value and just to, get attention. And he did. He drew a lot of attention, but it was a type of attention that over a period of time, if you're not very mentally resilient, it can take its toll on you. Because now people, they don't like you. They root for you to fail. So when he was no longer, I don't like to use the word fail. I like to say not performing to his potential. But he was doing some stuff that were just complete fails, all right? So the fact that he wanted to act in that manner, what I would consider a failing manner, resulted in when he lost in the ring as him failing in the ring and just failing at life because he was making horrible choices. He didn't want to listen to anybody. The money made him a little stupid. He bragged about going to Miami and over a weekend spending $1 million. Over a weekend, this man spent $1 million. Him and his friends having fun, renting these, the foreign vehicles and all that, and had a good time. But $1 million in a weekend. Now, I guess a person can do what they want. I'm not jumping in his pocket watching his money. But when I heard him talk about that, he said he didn't regret it because he had fun. But when you come out here now and you're begging people like Floyd Mayweather to come and do a bout with you, just so you can make a quick 20, he can make 120. Like, this is what this man is coming out here saying. he was mad at Floyd because Floyd wouldn't line up an exhibition bout between him and Floyd Mayweather. And he was saying if it was him, he would easily do it for Floyd or any of his good friends who was in financial distress to improve their situation. But, at the same time, if you feel it was okay to blow $1 million over a weekend, you got to sit there, man, and suffer in your own misery because you created it. But now he seems to be, looking back and like, man, I made some bad choices, trying to get it together. But this is the problem. This is why he has an uncertain future, right? He hasn't taken care of his body. I'm talking about physically. He hasn't taken care of himself mentally. He's done a lot of, my understanding, he's been out there smoking weed, drinking a lot of alcohol, gaining, excessive amounts of weight, not living the life of an athlete. So now he's talking about stepping back in between the ropes. But just not sure we're going to see him anytime soon. But he is with Kevin Cunningham, and they're saying he has, a large amount of belly fat to lose. And from the way they describe it, these are my words right now, right? It sounds like he looks like a heavily buttered French bread. And they're trying to work him hard and get that weight off, and another 10-week stretch to get him in fight shape, and try to resolve some things and focus on the sport that he loves and fix some things that he wasn't able to resolve before. Now, Kevin Cunningham seems to be a pretty good coach. Not really sure he's the best for Adrian Broner. But, then again, who am I? I'm just going off of when I was watching Adrian Broner in that Pacquiao fight, how they were telling Adrian Broner he was winning when he was not winning. That's why I don't like that. Don't lie to him. But, there's obviously a good relationship. Cunningham is an ex-policeman, so there's a certain amount of respect he demands. He doesn't always get it from those guys, but you can see he has a low tolerance for some things, but at the same time, he has, for those same issues, depending on the time of day and the person, he seems to have a high tolerance level. At the end, but when someone's going to pay you, a few $100,000, I guess you got to tolerate a little bullshit, especially when they don't want to listen. But Broner's been out of the ring for 2 years, so we're going to see what he's going to do. His last win came against, Giovanni Santiago in February 2021, which a lot of people felt Adrian Broner lost that fight, and they robbed him. I personally think Adrian Broner lost that fight, so it is what it is. But as far as what we grew with in regards to Adrian Broner, the Manny Pacquiao days in Adrian Broner are gone. The Sean Porter days in Adrian Broner, those are gone. The Mikey Garcia and Adrian Broner days, those are gone. The Granados, Adrian Broner days are gone. The Marcos Maidana, Adrian Broner days are gone. Being in those huge venues like the MGM Grand Garden Arena and Barclays Centers, you're not seeing Adrian Broner in there again. Like, when you think about it, right, he has to rebuild. I said this in another video. You wonder why Showtime hasn't really pushed to get Adrian Broner back on that platform. Because he neglected, didn't respect, and abused their brand. If I'm going to put all this money behind you, we know that you're an attraction. But you come now, you disappoint me once. Going to put some more money behind you because we know you're an attraction. We're a business, so we're going to overlook some stuff because of what you bring to the table. You disappoint me twice. Okay, we're still going to go ahead and put money behind you because we're a business. You're still a draw. Numbers are dropping a little bit, but you're still a draw. You come out a third time, disappoint me a third time. Okay, hold on a second. We'll give you one more chance. Fourth time come, numbers are dwindling, majorly dwindling. And now you've disappointed me a fourth time. And you've said horrible things about guys on the staff, guys on the team. Now you go and you do whatever, you're getting arrested, you're getting in trouble. Now you come back, hey, someone throw me a lifeline. You know what? We see the lifeline, but we really don't want to touch you. Because you can't conduct yourself in that manner and still expect people to want to help you. I tell my kids all the time, attitude and communication. Two most important things. After that is discipline and responsibility. But if you have a horrible attitude, right? And you can't communicate effectively, verbally and written, nobody can take you serious, man. But after that, it's discipline and responsibility. Those four things is everything to me. And that's just something that I kind of concluded after spending so much time in the military and getting people from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, all over the world. They all joined the military. And you get to deal with them and see it. What I conclude after 25 years is attitude and communication. Man, if you have the right attitude and you're an effective communicator, sky is the limit for you. You may not be the top performer when it comes to getting things done, but man, if you can communicate well and you have a good attitude, people will work with you. But you can be the most effective person on the team, in the business, and your attitude sucks. You're going to have some short-term success, like Adrian Broner. But at a certain point in time, people will turn their backs on your ass. And that's what happened to him. And now, even if he had the right attitude, his communication is not the best. You understand? So that's another huge issue. So the two things, in my opinion, which are the most important in life, attitude and communication. Then after that, discipline and responsibility. So even if he had the attitude and was the good attitude and the great communicator, where's the discipline? And where the hell's the responsibility? So let's just be real, right? He didn't have the right, four things. He didn't have the right attitude. He wasn't the best communicator, right? No discipline, no responsibility. What the hell you want people to do? Okay? And that's his situation. So as of right now, he's still signed to PBC. They still want to promote him. They still may be able to get him some main event bouts, on Showtime due to his, just his exploits in winning titles in the full weight divisions. And, he still has the accolades. He still has a name. But he got some work to do as far as his reputation with the fans. Especially when people say they saw videos of Broner partying weeks before he pulled out the fight. You can't pull a Ryan Garcia. Oh, woe is me, I have mental health issues. Okay, boom, you out there in Tahiti. Out there, man, pitch and woo on the job. You out there with your little girlfriend. Y'all rubber dubbing. But you're supposed to be this guy with mental health and suicidal. So, you just have to be careful because you're under a microscope, man. And everybody's watching you. It's like when I was coming up and, you start to get to certain levels, right? And what I was doing. When you first start off, it's like you're in a little small glass house, right? You start to get a little bit of success. You're in a glass house, but it's small. So when people are throwing rocks, a bunch of rocks are coming at you, hating on you, jealous of you, all kind of stuff, want to see you fail. But the house is so small you're in, there's a lot of rocks coming, but, they're missing. One can hit it, but it's, not a real great chance of a rock hitting your little glass house. But as you start to get more success, right? And let's say like Adrian Broner, discipline, responsibility, the attitude, communication is not there. But he's getting more success. As your success grows, that glass house starts to grow. Now, there may not be as many stones coming at you, but they're still coming. But there's more of a chance of that glass house getting broken. Now, a guy like Adrian Broner, as he got all the way up to being a full-weight world champion, making all the money he was making, being a rapper, being in videos, going to clubs just to host, that glass house Adrian Broner was in was this big. And when you get like that, rocks are still coming, but it's not that many. But the problem is the house is so damn big, it only takes one. And Adrian Broner was in a huge glass house, as far as his success, and he was doing stupid shit. But he still had a lot of rocks coming at him. And didn't really take many. And his glass house was getting broken. Rock was shattered. Get through that. Still doing stupid stuff. Still has this big glass house he's in. All that success. Another rock hits it because of some stupid shatters, lawsuits, everything. So now, he's gone all the way back to not having any success. having to rebuild, and he's back in a little glass house like this. And there's a whole bunch of rocks coming, but his little glass house is this small because his success is very little now. So it can still get broken, but less of a chance of it getting broken. The thing is, he wants to have his success grow, but that glass house to stay like this. And the way he can do that is with the right attitude, the right communication, being able to communicate effectively, be disciplined and responsible, and that will keep him away from all the bullshit. But who am I? You know what I'm saying? I made a lot of mistakes, man. Trust me. I'm far from perfect, especially when I was younger. I was stupid. But a lot of success now. Life is good. Beautiful children. You'll never hear me complain about anything. It's all about finding a way to win. That's why I always say that before these videos, you know. Boxing, I learned that from boxing, man. It's you and this guy in the ring. You're going to figure out how to lose. You're going to figure out how to win. And I strongly believe that. But we're going to see what's going to happen with him, man. You know, Broner likes to talk about it. He's been fighting for 27 years. And he just needs a break. And you're struggling with mental health and reaching out. Life's not easy. It's a constant struggle and everyday battle. And he grew up, you got to look at his background. He grew up rough, man. So it's hard to break lock with that. You know, and for me, I'm going to tell you, me coming into the military as a teenager got me out, away from friends and away from just, being in a situation where I would just be existing. And it helped me see things a little different. I'll tell you what, when you leave your environment for the first time, especially if you go into the military. But anyway, they put you in that shit, and you got these fools running around there shouting and screaming and all kind of craziness, man. It will humble you. I remember that first night, laying there, man, and that's what Adrian Broner needs. Send his ass to a boot camp. I remember that first night laying there, man. It was a bunk, all of us there in bunk beds, everybody there, and I'm laying there. And no kidding, I was shaking. I was like, what the F did I get myself into? And then at the same time, I got a great sense of humor. So then you hear the other guys in there crying and hilarious. Boo-hooing, man. I'm talking about snot and shit coming out their nose. And I'm sitting there scared as hell because it's like, I don't want those instructors to come back in there, screaming and carrying on, making you stand up, pick up your suitcase and put them back down, pick them up, put them back down. 5 of them screaming at you. And I had an attitude chip on my shoulder. I thought I was all that. They break your ass down in there. But when you come out, man, you see things a little differently. You're institutionalized. Because you spend 6 weeks of these people just rewiring everything about you. Adrian Broner needs that, man. And then maybe he'll stop destroying himself with the bullshit extracurricular activities. And take his life serious, take his career serious. And I think he can get back on top. But can't let his past dictate his future. But I'm going to tell you what's going to plague him from his past. As far as going forward, is that that Marcos Maidana fight. If he can't get away from that, a comeback against Adrian Broner, it may be on the cards, but it won't be successful. Because if he can't let his hands go, Adrian Broner is going nowhere. And this is going to be his last hurrah. So we'll see what happens with him, man. Appreciate you guys hanging in if you got to the end of the video. Sorry if the story bored you, but when I talk about some of these things, man, I can relate. Almost everything I read about these boxers, about people and things I see, I can relate that to something that I did or I saw. When you do 25 years in the military and you get people from all walks of life and you travel the world, you see a lot. And it's funny now that, me now here at my age, I'm not an old man, but I'm definitely not 20 years old anymore. I just can understand everybody's situation. And I have a story that ties into almost everything. So for Adrian Broner, if you ask me if I was talking to him, I would just tell him, what do you really want to do? That'd be my thing. My man, what do you really want to do? Do you really want to do this anymore? Because I'm going to tell you what before I retired, 5 years before I retired, it was damn near impossible for me to wake up and put on the uniform. I had kids. It changes you. This man here, he's got, whatever his situation is, something changed in him where he doesn't want to do it. And he's trying to force himself. That's why it's not working out. Adrian Broner can do exhibitions. Adrian Broner can still go host. Adrian Broner can rap. Adrian Broner can do a lot. This man has so many opportunities, so many options. It's for the right person to sit down and chat with him and not an AB cheerleader. Like someone to sit down and just say, what do you want to do? Put that shit down on paper and let's start conversating. But he needs the right support system, man. And that support system can't advocate for alcohol, can't advocate for smoking, whether it's cigarettes, smoking weed, can't advocate for being out there sleeping all over the place, being loose. Got to be someone who's going to advocate for what we just talked about. Right attitude, working on communicating effectively, being disciplined, and being responsible. And then Adrian Broner is going to take off. He'll probably make more money outside of boxing than he has in boxing. But anyway, we'll see what he does. I know right now they're working for him for a comeback fight. He's back in training with Cunningham. He got some weight to lose, looking at 10 weeks and then getting something going. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to cheer for him. We don't break champions down, we build them, but not really optimistic on Adrian Broner and his future. But let's see. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I know how it is when it's hard to wake up and put a uniform on. And with him, it's not like it's hard to wake up and put on those gloves. Same thing. 2 different careers, but the same thing. Going to work. He wants to do something different, like myself. And I hope he finds out what it is he wants to do. Because if he comes back out here playing around, he goes in there with a guy like a Boots Ennis, a Keith Thurman, anyone who, a Mantis Stanionis, right? He goes in there with one of these guys. Adrian Broner is going to get his ass. It's going to be the first time we see him get, knocked out cold. He's going to get hurt. Even Keith Thurman will knock him out right now. So I just think Adrian Broner needs to sort things out before he comes back in this ring and he gets his ass hurt. And that's what we don't want to see. Because all the indicators are there that he gets back in the ring and he's not disciplined and he's not, locked in to training, he's going to get knocked out, especially if he picks an opponent who's a real threat. That being said, shout out to everybody from all 7 continents, all the veterans. Appreciate the support. Y'all keep cool. And as always, in the breeze.